Hello Internet, you have found the Stand-Up Politician, the home of current affairs and political incorrectness. Before we get started on the main focus of today's video, in the news this week, world leaders have a picnic at the G8 summit, David Cameron decides to help out in a retirement home, and finally, Boris Johnson helps out on a fancy dress party. Today I'll be looking over the latest UKIP gathering while trying to break down Mr Farage's rhetoric by any means possible and giving you guys the facts. Before we start, I want to reinforce that I'm not here to influence your views. I was simply watching this and thought that I would give my response on some of his points, since he encourages this at the meeting, shown here.
Welcome to come to our meetings. Welcome to come to my meetings. I always say at the beginning, whether you're here as a member, whether you're here as a supporter, or whether you've come along just to confirm that you really don't like me or UKIP at all, you're all welcome. And if you've got a contrary point of view, I will let you make that contrary point of view.
Ah, how kind of you to say so, Mr Farage. Let me begin. Now, the first thing that I noticed is the introduction. Let's hear what they have to say.
Speak more extensively about this whole aspect of our affairs, the where we are now, the what's going to happen next, and to set out the broad vista for us is our leader, Nigel Farage, MEP.
Sorry, I couldn't help but laugh at this one. To set out our broad vista for us is our leader, Nigel Farage. But don't get too ahead of yourself, George. He hasn't even said anything yet. Let's move on. Yes, big round of applause. Oh, here we go, the first view of the venue. Oh, and Mr Farage himself. Not quite the settings we're used to.
Because it all started back in January, when the man that is our Prime Minister, you know the chap, Cast Iron Dave, as he used to be known.
Ah, that's what they call David Cameron, is it? I can't imagine what they call you. But nevertheless, let's take a look at some of his policies.
It simply isn't good enough to say to the British people that if the Conservatives form a majority, isn't very likely, does it?
Oh, Mr Farage has the cheek to laugh at the Conservatives' chances in the 2015 election at this point truly staggers me. Oh, but of course, you have all this power with every single one of your MPs. Oh wait, I don't remember that. Next.
As you might have noticed, I launched myself on what was called the Common Sense Tour of England, with my yellow trousers.
Yes, the Common Sense Tour. Admittedly, I don't think any politician could be taken seriously in those trousers, which explains a lot about UKIP.
In fact, I'd go further, it's almost a repulsion by what people see as three political parties run by people who've basically all been to the same schools, to the same Oxford colleges, never done a day's work in their lives.
Oh, poor Nigel. Dulwich College, one of the top 10 academic schools in the country, providing around 50 students to Oxbridge every year, didn't sound so bad to me, upon what she attended. I'd like to note here that in fact Ed Miliband actually attended Haverstock Comprehensive. Not too sure about that, Nigel.
And then, on that Sunday morning, the last Sunday before the election, and I was in the kitchen, and Sky News was on.
Oh, I know, and you found this picture?
And there, appearing in his garden, looking as though he'd been dragged through a hedge backwards after a heavy Saturday night.
So, we're 10 minutes in, and what have we had? A series of bashes against the three main parties, and a policy on leaving the EU. It's getting rather repetitive, Nigel. Would you mind moving on to something new now?
For the Conservative Party, had come to us straight from the Conservative Party, straight from the Liberal Democrats, from old Labour. Mr Miliband's been giving speeches on immigration. Mr Clegg's been talking about immigration. Mr Cameron has been talking about making sure that benefits are not open to people from across the world. In fact, I have to tell you, listening to the tough talk from the other three party leaders, some of their right-wing rhetoric really worries me, you know.
Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to hop over to another video which will show just why I found that point there just so funny.
And a huge upset means there'll be a big debate about the whole future direction of this country.
Okay.
And I think we've got a chance to do it.
I hope
Can I just ask, you've never voted before,
No.
but you're thinking of voting for this man tonight?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Racist,
You know, if my vote
Homophobes.
will count.
That man says racist and homophobe.
Does it? Well, there we are. I don't think we're homophobes, but
Now, I know that was slightly off topic, but if that isn't right-wing rhetoric, then I don't know what is.
The hockey and the dartboard behind me, I can't resist beginning with the same phrase again. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's play darts.
Ha 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 ha! Quite the joker.
And my
After the departure of Mr. Flynn and return of Mr. Farage, Nigel seems to turn it on a slightly more serious tone. Take a look at this.
and let's make sure that this party achieves a decent representation in the House of Commons in 2015. If we get it right next year, if we get this right next year, and we've got momentum behind us, we will be a significant force in the House of Commons in 2015.
So, Mr. Farage here is happy to laugh at the Conservative chances right at the beginning of the conference in the general election, but somehow manages to keep a straight face at his own. A seismic shift, a representation in the House of Commons. This man shouldn't be a politician, he should be an actor. Great performance, 10 out of 10.
That perception about UKIP has already begun to change. We proved
By changing perception, he doesn't mean this one, does he? After talking for over half an hour, Mr. Farage finally comes up with his little nugget of intelligence. Absolutely beautiful. Take a look at this.
was actually, if you go out and vote UKIP, you get UKIP.
Does this even make any sense anymore?
Okay, all right. Are we on time? Perfect. No, really
As always, take care, stay updated with current affairs by subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you soon.